He made us laugh, big time. I spent many happy hours with Robin on stage. I mean, the brilliance was astounding. The relentless energy was kind of thrilling. I used to think if I could just put a saddle on him and stay on for 8 seconds, I was going to do okay.
Robin Williams and Billy Crystal gave the world countless unforgettable laughs. But the moment Billy Crystal has struggled to forget wasn't funny at all. For years, he kept it to himself. Now, Billy Crystal is finally sharing the Robin Williams story he never told before. A private memory that changes how you see one of Hollywood's most beloved stars. Voices in the dark. It's incredible how Billy Crystal and Robin Williams shared such a deep brotherhood, especially in the competitive world of comedy. While the world saw them as legendary entertainers, their real connection was something much more personal, away from the cameras. They totally understood the craziness of fame, and that's what helped them build an amazing comfort level with each other. This bond led to a really private habit that nobody knew about for years. Most nights, around 2 in the morning, Billy's phone would ring. The moment he answered, Robin was already in character. Billy never knew who would be on the other end of the line. A movie star, a president, or someone Robin had invented only minutes before. To Robin, this was his private stage, a place to push his skills to the absolute limit, with just Billy as his audience. Also, because these men lived on different coasts, Robin in San Francisco and Billy in New York, Robin would often call at hours that disrupted Billy's sleep. On some days, if Billy isn't able to pick up, Robin would leave him funny voice messages to listen to when he wakes up. The whole routine was Robin's way of letting off steam for his buzzing, overactive mind. And on the other hand, Billy acted as a steady, grounded anchor, giving Robin a safe space to explore the wild thoughts he could never share with the general public. Billy admitted that keeping up with that kind of wild energy was a real sport. He said that it took him years to get the hang of being the perfect comedic sparring partner. He had to learn exactly when to jump in, how to ride the wave of Robin's fast timing, and how to keep the conversation bouncing back and forth without dropping the ball. Their conversations were like this super-fast game of tennis with words, jokes flying back and forth. But beneath all the humor, these calls also showed how lonely Robin sometimes felt. Growing up as an only child, he created these amazing imaginary worlds just to keep himself company. As the night went on, the jokes would fade away, allowing room for absolute vulnerability. Realizing how rare it was to find true loyalty in Hollywood, the comedians established a strict pact regarding their private conversations. They shared their deepest personal anxieties, industry struggles, and hidden fears, promising to take those secrets to the grave. This absolute trust kept them safely connected through every high and low point of their massive careers. Their unbreakable bond did not appear overnight, however. Before they could build this impenetrable wall of trust, they had to survive an explosive first encounter in the heart of the Los Angeles comedy underground. The night two legends collided. To understand their story, let's take it back to the late 1970s. During that period, a massive stand-up comedy boom was taking over California, transforming smoky little clubs into spaces of pure creative chaos. Performers were desperately trying to break away from the old, rigid style of telling traditional jokes that relied on a predictable setup and punchline. They wanted something raw, real, and completely spontaneous. In these packed, dim rooms, young artists risked everything on stage every single night, trying to redefine what it meant to make people laugh. Both Billy and Robin were cutting their teeth here, searching for their own unique voices. It was during this vibrant era that Billy first saw Robin perform live, and the experience left him completely stunned. He realized instantly that he was not watching a standard comedian who carefully rehearsed lines. Instead, He was witnessing an unpredictable force of nature that shattered every established rule of traditional theater. Robin moved across the stage with a wild, lightning-fast energy, adopting multiple voices and characters in seconds. His mind jumped from one brilliant idea to another so quickly that audiences could barely keep up. Billy watched in absolute awe, knowing the entire landscape of entertainment had shifted right before his eyes. The comedy scene back then was notoriously competitive and cutthroat, with most comics aggressively protecting their own stage time and material. Yet, despite the intense pressure to compete, Billy and Robin immediately gravitated toward one another. They forged an instant bond based on deep mutual respect and an incredible intellectual quickness. From the very first day, Billy naturally settled into the role of the straight man, giving Robin's wild humor someone to play against. Soon, the duo began setting up informal workshop sessions to perfect their cooperative act. They spent hours studying each other's visual cues, subtle breath pauses, and small physical tics to prepare for what would become a historic, collaborative partnership. They developed a unique, telepathic rhythm where they could accurately predict each other's next creative move without saying a single word. This telepathic comedic connection wasn't going to stay confined to tiny Hollywood clubs. It was about to be weaponized for a massive, life-changing, humanitarian mission. The night comedy found its heart. This humanitarian mission took shape in 1986 under the name Comic Relief USA. Founded by producer Bob Zmuda, the groundbreaking organization launched a televised live HBO charity event anchored by close friends Billy Crystal, Robin Williams, and Whoopi Goldberg. Intentionally designed to raise money and secure vital medical care for America's homeless population, it was a bold, highly unusual experiment for its era. Television network executives worried that focusing on a heavy, sensitive social crisis might completely clash with mainstream entertainment. Yet, the three hosts proved that laughter could be a powerful tool for human survival. They shocked the industry by turning a tragic national problem into a captivating television phenomenon that people could not look away from. While the telethons operated on a rigid live broadcast schedule with strict countdown clocks and corporate cues, the segments featuring Billy, Robin, and Whoopi were almost entirely unscripted. This raw unpredictability turned out to be their greatest asset. Whenever technical glitches occurred or teleprompters failed during the live broadcast, the trio stepped in with pure instinct. They generated brilliant, spontaneous comedy sketches out of thin air, acting as a live safety net that kept the entire high-stakes production from falling apart. Over their multi-decade run, this controlled chaos successfully generated nearly $70 million for critical housing and healthcare initiatives across the country. It was an astonishing achievement that surprised even the most cynical critics in the industry. Their unique partnership proved it possessed massive real-world utility and genuine heart. Still, the true measure of Billy Crystal and Robin Williams' bond was found far away from the glitz of premium cable cameras. Billy frequently recalled how Robin would quietly sneak away from the studio during production breaks. Without a single media crew, photographer, or publicist present, Robin would walk into local shelters and military hospitals to spend quiet time with citizens who felt completely forgotten by society. He refused to let his charity work turn into a shallow Hollywood publicity stunt, prioritizing human connection over commercial cameras. This deep exposure to systematic human suffering came with a heavy emotional toll. Witnessing these harsh realities up close during their intense national campaigns cemented their bond into something far deeper than typical Hollywood networking. It evolved into a shared moral obligation that bound them together for the rest of their lives. They realized they could use their fame to amplify the voices of the vulnerable. Robin and Billy were no longer two entertainers trying to climb the entertainment ladder. They were brothers sharing a heavy burden. While their friendship was bulletproof, bringing their fast-paced, unscripted comedy onto a tightly run movie set was a different story. When the script went out the window. In 1997, during the high-profile production of Ivan Reitman's major studio comedy Father's Day, Billy's and Robin's comic exchange took center stage. The two actors had spent years searching for the perfect vehicle to showcase their joint talents on the big screen. Heavily marketed around the historic pairing of Billy Crystal and Robin Williams, the film promised audiences an unforgettable comedy event. While studio executives expected a straightforward commercial shoot, adhering strictly to the screenplay, everyone on set quickly recognized that the two leads operated on an entirely different comedic frequency. To capture their unpredictable chemistry, Reitman deployed a multi-camera setup, anticipating that the script would merely serve as a launch pad. As soon as the director yelled "action," the script went out the window. Robin and Billy started making up new lines on the spot, each trying to make the other laugh first. Between takes, the crew would stop whatever they were doing to watch. What should have been an ordinary movie set became a front-row seat to two comedy legends trying to outdo each other. Moreover, the film's actual storyline closely mirrored their off-screen reality. In the movie, they play two very different men tracking down a missing teenage boy who might belong to either of them. Off-camera, they really did look out for each other like family. They made sure the intense pressures of fame didn't get to them, always keeping each other grounded during a chaotic shoot. Years after the movie's release, Billy shared a behind-the-scenes photograph from that specific set. The picture captured both men doubled over in pure laughter between takes. It gave fans a rare look at a real friendship, where the joy wasn't just for the cameras, proving that their bond on screen was exactly what they shared in real life. Although their movie sets were legendary, their most famous piece of unscripted magic occurred entirely live in front of a packed stadium of baseball fans. Stealing the show at Shea Stadium. In 1989, New York was hosting a special comic relief day at Shea Stadium. Billy Crystal, Robin Williams, and Whoopi Goldberg arrived at the historic venue to support their charity mission. Rather than sitting quietly in luxury VIP seats, the three comedians joined legendary sports broadcaster Tim McCarver inside the live television commentary booth. Millions of viewers tuning in from home were completely unaware that they were about to witness a historic moment in live broadcasting history. As filming began, one funny problem became obvious. Robin knew almost nothing about baseball. When asked about his favorite team, he joked that it was the San Franciscos, clearly confused by the fast-paced game commentary. Seeing his friend struggling on live TV, Billy quickly helped him out. He told the announcer that they had a great Russian baseball player right there in the booth. Robin's eyes lit up with an idea. He immediately put on a thick Soviet accent and pretended to be a fictional player from overseas. He confidently said that Russia only had one baseball team, the Reds. The bit was going great, but the real magic happened by accident on the next pitch. The batter hit a foul ball that flew right through the open window of the booth. Everyone ducked as the ball hit the back wall and bounced perfectly into Robin's hands. He stood up, held the ball up for the cameras, and shouted, "I love America! I'm defecting!" It was a perfect example of the amazing things they could do when they worked together. But behind these historic stadium laughs and bright lights, a dark, silent storm was slowly creeping into Robin's brilliant mind. The silent battle. For years, the public had no idea that Robin Williams was fighting a private war against an invisible medical enemy. It was only after his passing that a medical autopsy revealed the tragic truth. What no one knew was that Robin had been battling Lewy body dementia, an aggressive and progressive brain disease that doctors initially misdiagnosed as Parkinson's. This neurological condition directly attacks brain cells, disrupting how a person thinks, moves, and handles emotions. The illness caused severe bouts of sudden anxiety, deep confusion, and paranoia, while also making his physical movements stiff and slow. It completely altered his daily reality from the inside out, leaving him without any clear answers or medical relief during his lifetime. As this happened, Billy confirmed that he noticed subtle, heartbreaking shifts in his beloved friend during their final visits together. He saw distinct changes in Robin's processing speed and overall physical energy levels. The manic spark that usually defined their comedic interactions started to flicker. More so, Robin even admitted to Billy that he was feeling a bit crispy, a casual phrase that hid a deeply terrifying internal reality. During a meeting in 2013, Billy saw that his old friend looked thinner and unusually frail. When they finally said goodbye, Robin broke down and wept while hugging him tightly. Billy later admitted that he had never heard this bold, fearless artist sound so terrified before. He could see the immense toll it took on Robin to maintain his energetic public persona for a demanding fan base. Adhering strictly to their lifelong pact of total privacy, Billy carried the heavy weight of these painful observations completely alone. He protected the true depth of Robin's late-stage exhaustion and private terror, successfully shielding his chosen brother from the ruthless Hollywood press. He refused to let his friend's internal struggles become cheap gossip material for public entertainment tabloids. On the morning of August 11, 2014, the entertainment world was shaken by heartbreaking news that Robin had passed away at the age of 63. The sudden loss sent massive shockwaves across the globe, leaving Billy to process the agonizing, permanent absence of his ultimate creative soulmate. However, the weight of this tragedy did not disappear when the news cycles moved on. Robin's son, Zach Williams, has spoken openly about the modern echoes of this immense grief. He shared how close family members must navigate a profound loss that continues to loop and echo over a decade later. Zach explained the heavy psychological trauma of sharing his father's legacy with millions of grieving fans while working hard to process his own personal pain and find mental hygiene routines to heal. Shattered by the loss of his brother, Billy was forced to step onto the world's biggest entertainment stage to deliver a final farewell. The last standing ovation. 2 weeks after the world lost Robin Williams, a final farewell took place at the 66th Annual Primetime Emmy Awards. The Television Academy asked his friend Billy Crystal to lead a special memorial segment during the broadcast, placing him under immense professional pressure. He had to stand before a quiet, star-studded audience and over 17 million live television viewers while actively processing his own deep personal grief. Billy later confessed that keeping his composure during those few emotional minutes was the absolute hardest task of his entire career. He was not acting a part or performing a rehearsed routine for easy applause. Instead, he served as the primary emotional spokesman for a grieving global public, carrying the heavy weight of millions of heartbroken fans who wanted to say goodbye to their favorite entertainer. Well, Billy delivered a beautiful, comforting analogy during the emotional climax of his speech that people still quote today. He compared Robin to those spectacular celestial stars up in the deep night sky. He explained to the audience that some of these massive stars have actually gone extinct, burning out long ago. Yet, Despite being completely gone, the long-traveled light they generated remains bright enough to reach our planet and warm human hearts forever. He finished his speech by wrapping up with a famous phrase from Robin's early career. "Robin Williams, what a concept." As those words echoed through the microphone, the entire theater fell completely silent. Billy chose this specific image because it captured the exact experience of watching Robin's old movies and television clips, where the laughter felt completely alive, even if the man behind it was gone. However, this somber evening stood in stark contrast to their happiest moments together under the bright Hollywood spotlight. When we look back at the 1998 Academy Awards, Billy hosted the prestigious ceremony that night. This was also the time Robin won his first Oscar for Best Supporting Actor in Good Will Hunting. As he received the award, Billy immediately rushed across the stage to embrace his friend, celebrating the massive career milestone with excitement. Their genuine bond stood out completely to everyone in the room. Even in elite entertainment circles filled with famous legendary pairings like Jagger and Jerry, the brotherhood between Billy and Robin was completely unique because it lacked any hint of professional rivalry or jealousy. One would think the personal warmth would have cooled down over the years, but it didn't. Billy continues to honor his friend through quiet, private gestures rather than loud publicity stunts or media campaigns. Even years after Robin's passing, Billy continues to speak about their friendship with remarkable warmth and gratitude. Whenever he shares those memories, it becomes clear that what he misses most is not just Robin's extraordinary talent, but the genuine kindness, loyalty, and unwavering support that defined their lifelong brotherhood. Robin Williams left an indelible mark on global entertainment. But to Billy Crystal, he was more than a colleague. He was a brother. Their enduring loyalty illustrates that true human bonds can withstand the demanding nature of today's celebrity culture. Do you think it is still possible for modern celebrities to build a genuine, lifelong brotherhood like Billy and Robin did? Or was their friendship a unique product of a completely different era? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and hit the subscribe button. For more content like this, click on the next video on your screen.